Bob. We're going to start with that game, but hope you can catch up. I call to order a special meeting and public hearing for the City Council of the City of Nassau Bay, Texas, held on Tuesday, December 28th, 2021 at 5 p.m. in the City Council Chambers, City Hall, 1800 Space Park Drive, Suite 200, Nassau Bay, Texas. I'd ask Sonia to read the portion.
Portions of this agenda item may be conducted by video conference whereby a quorum is present at the regularly posted location when the matter arises on the agenda, and any member who participates remotely strictly complies with the requirements of Texas Government Code Section 551.127A-1, including the use of audio and the video and audio feed of the remote member's participation in the meeting, which audio and video participation must be broadcast live at the meeting. Failure of the member or the equipment to comply with these requirements shall prohibit the remote member's vote from counting.
Okay.
Yes.
We have a quorum, full house with 2 people being remote. Item on the agenda is request for public hearing before City Council. The privilege of speaking at this time is limited to the following persons: resident persons having an ownership interest in property or business located within the city, or their attorneys. A statement no more than 3 minutes may be made on items of general relevance. There will be no yielding of time to another person. State law prohibits the mayor and members of council from commenting on any statement or engaging in dialogue without the appropriate agenda item being posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Law. Comments should be directed to the entire council, not individual members. Engaging in verbal attacks or comments intended to insult, abuse, malign, or slander any individual shall be cause for immediate termination at time produced, and that person removed from council chambers. This time the public hearing is observed. Time is 5:07.
Roscoe Lee, 1631 Antigua Lane. I'm gratified to see that you have on your agenda for the executive session discussion and possible approval of release of the non-disclosure agreement associated with Jason's separation. If you do vote in the affirmative, I think this will relieve a lot of the angst that has accumulated over the last several weeks from residents. If you do approve the rescission of the non-disclosure agreement, I would recommend that you have a town hall meeting shortly thereafter. I think this would be a win for both you and for the residents, because this will save you from having to answer probably the same question over and over again via email or phone calls. And it'll take up a lot of your time if you try to field all that. Also, if you only speak to 1 or 2 residents, others will not hear those results. So I think a town hall meeting would be beneficial to everyone. I think the town hall meeting should be conducted similar to this request for public hearing, with the exception, of course, that the resident could ask their question to particular individuals, and that individual could respond. I also would propose that maybe the 3 minutes would be too short a time, maybe expanded to 5 minutes to allow for the give and take. But I do think we need to preserve some of the requirements associated with the request for public hearing, that is, as was read earlier, to not engage in verbal attacks, to insult, abuse, or malign, or slander any individuals. We should have a respectful discussion and an open discussion. I would hope that also when you do approve, if you do approve the release of the non-disclosure agreement, that you also release all of the Freedom of Information Act requests that have been held. A number of us have made those requests, and some portions of those have been held back. I think if you release the NDA, those should be all open for release. Thank you.
Brian Brown, 1454 Davon Lane. Mr. Mayor, members of council, first off, thank you for taking the time this evening to consider lifting the so-called gag order on the separation agreement with the former city manager. As the city attorney can confirm, there are multiple open records requests that have been filed for the separation agreement that were denied. Currently, those requests are being reviewed by the State Attorney General's office, with an answer expected here in the coming weeks. Transparency is incredibly important, and any and all agreements, especially those that result in taxpayer funds being used, need to be out in the open. After all, while the city government is elected to oversee the city, it is we, the people of Nassau Bay, that authorizes governing body to exist, and as such, we are all stakeholders in the actions and decisions made by this council. I'd also like to give a quick update on the live streaming and documenting of the previous special meeting from last week. With about 2 days' notice before the meeting, we had at one point 11 people online doing the live broadcast, which was broadcast through various pages being shared through Facebook Live. After the meeting was concluded, those 2 video streams, one from the primary part of the session and one from after the executive session, were merged together and created a 29-minute, 29-second video that was then uploaded to a YouTube page for those who do not have access to Facebook or refuse to have access to Facebook were able to view it. For those questioning the integrity of these videos, they are free to file an open records request with the city secretary and compare the recordings. They will find everything to be in order. In the first 24 hours, the live stream videos were accessed 156 times with 46 unique viewers. After 1 week, 204 views with 71 unique viewers. YouTube video was viewed 147 times in the first 24 hours, with an average of 8 minutes and 22 seconds being spent on the video. After the first week, we went up to 166 views with 7 minutes and 38 seconds being spent per viewer. The demand is there, and hopefully after next month's regular meeting, we will be able to begin the process of analyzing our needs, capabilities, and the procedure to ensure secure transmissions of these meetings operated by the city using multiple mediums to reach the maximum number of people. Thank you for your time. Have a happy, safe, and healthy New Year.
Sarah Blunt, 18639 Prince William Lane. I just wanted to say real quick that, first of all, I appreciate you guys coming out during your holiday to hopefully open up the dialogue about some things that people have been asking about. And I hope that you vote in the affirmative on tonight's agenda item. But I also wanted to kind of follow up with what Brian had to say and request again that for the January meeting, you guys put on the agenda possibly voting the release of these videos so that people don't have to take it upon themselves to video it. The videos are already being made when people are zooming in anyway, so it'd be pretty easy for Sandra to go ahead and put it up on the website. I know there's some questions about the capabilities that we have right now, but just in the meantime, it would be nice to have what we already have publicly available. So I would appreciate you guys considering that for January. Thank you.
Thank you.
Everybody, Happy New Year. Jim Stella, 18315 Nassau Bay, Hereford Lane. I just want to take this opportunity to share a special event that I'm planning for next year. It's like 3 months from now. Do a kayak event or a water event around the city of Nassau Bay. We start at the Nassau Bay Hilton, proceed to a couple parks, pick up other riders, and end up in the Nassau Bay Yacht Club. The benefit would be creating awareness for the post-traumatic stress disorder organization called Camp Hope out of Houston. Need funding and create awareness. We have 22 veterans per day are killing themselves from PTSD issues. So, thank you.
Thanks, Frank.
Good evening, my name is Mary Abraham. I live at 1814 Antigua Lane, right across from Ward Park. So obviously I'm here to talk about the Ward Park vote that just happened. And forgive me for some very preliminary sorts of papers here. I didn't have a chance to print anything out. But we recently learned the results of the park voting for the Kid Course 1800. I'm gonna start with Braun Park, which had 5 locations. The 5 locations each had a grouping of 26, 25, 21, 17, and 37 votes for the different locations there. So Braun Park received a total of 126 votes. Ward Park had 2 locations. 2 locations for Ward Park. The 2 locations received 29 and 64 votes, for a total of 93 votes between the 2. So if you look at the comparison between Ward Park and Braun Park, of the 219 votes that our residents took the time to go vote, we had 93 votes for Ward Park, and we had 126 votes for Braun Park. So if you look at the percentages of the 219 votes that were made, we have 42% of the vote went to Ward Park, and 57% went to Braun Park. So because Ward Park had fewer locations than Braun Park, they were consolidated more between one or the other locations. So Braun Park received 15% more votes of where the location of the preferred location for this is. So as our neighbors, as city council members, we're all neighbors here. You listened to the Swan Lagoon residents and moved it from their location. Please, please listen to the residents that butt up to Ward Park. We cannot have this outside of our windows, outside of our kitchen windows. I hear profanity from the basketball court already. What I'm going to hear from that park is going to exponentially increase. This is not a small child's playground item that you're looking at putting up. You're looking at putting up an item for teenagers. And we already, the day after the last city council meeting, we had someone look outside their window. Thank you. We had after the last meeting, one of the residents that butts up to the park took a picture of a mother and child where the mother was helping lower the pants of the child to pee into the bushes right outside of our windows. So this is a big park apparatus. It's not a small, quiet park. We've got residences right there. This belongs in the big park. So please listen to the residents along Benton. Thank you.
Thank you.
Boris Berzin, 1815 Devon Lane. I would like to magnify the words that Mary just used it here for your good and for our good. The point is this particular meeting is about transparency. If there was a one thing that was not transparent, if there was a one issue that crawled up on my doorstep, it was this issue, the issue of this wonderful apparatus. This is not a transparency thing. We were foretold. We were told by someone who likes us, the neighbors, hey guys, watch out, something's taking place and you are not aware of it. Well, this is not gonna fly this time, this is not gonna fly next time. It is good to tell people, this is what we intend to do. What do you think, folks? Do we need this apparatus? Do we have budget for this? So for the sake of transparency, I'd like to put on the scoreboard, not just what is taking place, but truly down to the last cent, why you spent the money, where you got the money, how you intend to use the money to the last cent, so that people feel proud of your decision to magnify the beauty of a David Brown Park. You have imagination, you are in this seat because you wanted to do something good for the city, make a David Brown Park envy of the neighborhoods. Do not destroy Nassau Bay gem of tranquility, Howard Ward Park. On one hand, like Mary, I'm begging you. On the other hand, I'm telling you, you just don't do this to your neighbors. You just don't thank people for voting when you jam the vote down their throats. That's the point. If you want to do something, do it openly, do it with pride, do it with your heart. Don't try to do it with a knife in your back, because what this particular thing is going to do to us is a bottleneck on our narrow street. That's number one. Things that are not invited in the neighborhood, you're gonna invite crime. Sooner or later, even this wonderful church that gives you the parking lot to play basketball will find something negative happen. And what kind of publicity are they gonna get? What kind of liability are they gonna get? I'm done. I think you know pretty well that this was the wrong thing to do, and absolutely not transparent, no matter how you dress the vote. Thank you. And by the way, I do sincerely wish you Happy New Year. I am your neighbor.
As I sent the email, you too.
We agree.
Yes. Make note.
I'm Diana Clark, 1415 Antigua Lane. I hope everyone had a great Christmas and a wonderful New Year coming up. I just want to take this time to thank Nassau Bay, and it makes me so proud that this year we raised over 12,000 toys for children. Our little event of the holiday in the park was so successful. We also raised $422 in donations, plus 86 toys in addition to what we already had. So I just want to tell you, I am thrilled. We helped so many families. I couldn't even begin to count how many. We were still delivering toys out of my driveway Christmas Day. So thank you so much.
Thank you for what you do. What else? Once, twice?
Ashley Graves, 18211 Hartford Lane. I'll be speaking as a citizen right now, so hoping this microphone does the trick. What does transparency mean? Transparency means operating in such a way that it is easy for others to see what actions are performed. Transparency implies openness, communication, and accountability. There's been discussion regarding the removal of the so-called gag order and the separation agreement made between our city manager, Jason Reynolds, and council. If lifted, this would allow for both Jason Reynolds and members of council to discuss the separation situation more openly with our citizens. But is this full transparency? Or the green light on dispersing constructive narratives that some may wish to cultivate? I question the level of full transparency here. We are a city that put a human on the moon. Our citizens are well-educated and highly intelligent people. We owe our citizens full transparency. We owe it to them to allow them to access all the documents and information pertaining to the lead-up and execution of the separation agreement. Our citizens deserve the opportunity to have full transparency, to have access to all the information so that they can come to their own conclusion and find the answers they seek based on evidence, documents, and facts, not constructed narratives. In an effort to see actual full transparency, I urge council to not only remove the so-called gag order and the separation agreement, I also urge council to release all documents pending before the Attorney General and a request to withhold those documents filed by the city attorney. There is no reason our citizens should be denied these documents and emails as they were requested through the Freedom of Information Act and other open records requests. If the council intends to provide actual full transparency, partial transparency is not transparency.
Yes.
And I'm here as a citizen too. I have two things I'd like to mention. It's Phil Johnson, 2011 Back Bay Court, also position 2. I'm very happy for the vote to remove the gag rule. I've worked very hard to make sure we got to this point because I believe it is in the which will help in regards to maybe bringing us all a little bit closer together. The other thing is, I want to mention about the park and the information that the Parks and Recreation Committee put out. One of the things that I agree with some of the comments that were made here, but there's one point that I really want to stress. That is the majority votes that came out of the data. The first one was, believe it or not, 98% for investing in park equipment. There was another indication that didn't get a lot of visibility, which was if we were to return that playground equipment. Only 5 people, or about 2% of the people, believe that this is not a worthy investment. 98% believe that this is something that should be done for our kids, that it is a worthy investment, and they're tired of going to places like Table Lake Village for playground equipment for the kids. Second is, somebody, I think it was Mary, had 57%. My number came up 58% at David Braun. I think that's there. All the other figures, when you go to the site specific, are minorities or minority percentages. I think the highest single site had 29%, and it goes down precipitously after that. So in my view, I'd like to see and maybe add to the debate, because I know, Roscoe, you're going to be formally presenting these for action on next council meeting. But to me, there needs to be more information, either looking at something like the top 2 at David Braun, because it was the majority, or the top 2 overall of this town runoff. That way we get a very specific, clear indication from the citizens what their voice is as to where they want this to go. Thank you.
Anyone else? Well, hearing is closed. Time is 5:27. First caption, new business. Sandra?
Consider and take action on the approval of a resolution authorizing the finance director to execute a government obligation contract between K-State Bank and the city of Nassau Bay for the acquisition of 3 vehicles.
Hi there. Normally you haven't seen this agreement because we haven't brought it all together into one. But this year the total agreement comes to $160,000 respectively. So it benefits the council to be able to vote on that. Due to supply chain chaos, we received the vehicles much earlier than anticipated, and the financing wasn't lined up, and then they took 2 weeks to get me the contracts. And so now Silsby wants their money, and we had to approve this resolution in order for the contract to be complete. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Questions from council? I have one request, that this, since it's been rushed job, make sure our attorneys see the contract.
We have. It's acceptable.
Okay.
It's fought through the Bible word as far as providing the vehicles. This is a financing document, and since it is through a Bible word, which is a pre-bid process, then it complies with the open bid, the proper bid statute. So I don't have any problem with what we've seen today. Did you, Chris? Okay, fine.
Can you confirm the interest rate on the financing?
Yeah, I believe it's 365.
365?
I believe. Yeah, I believe that's what's listed.
Jeff, thank you.
Budgeted, correct?
Correct.
All right.
Yes.
Yeah, I just want to say, again, as I've written, I'm very proud of our budget, and this is another example of giving the city of Nassau Bay the tools they need, and investing in our police department is a worthwhile thing, so I'm very happy to see this, and that's all I have. Thanks.
Let me put a plug in for transparency in the finance department. If you're really bored at nighttime, go online, click the finance department, and go to the check register. That's where the money goes. Follow the money.
It's all there.
It's all there. They do a great job. Do I hear a motion?
Mayor Pro Tem, I move that we approve the budget that's presented by Jill.
I second that.
Second?
Approve the resolution.
Approve the
Any other conversation, discussions, questions? Call for the motion, all those in favor, raise your hand. Those opposed? Option yours.
Thank you. Happy to.
No, I can't. Okay, thank you. 6-0. At this time, that concludes the only remaining item before executive session. We're going to go into executive session. As authorized by the Texas Government Code, Chapter 551, other meetings, Subchapter D, evidences requires that meetings be held open. Specifically, number 1, 551.071.2, on a matter in which the duty of the Attorney General's body for the Texas disciplinary rules of professional conduct with the State Bar of Texas clearly conflicts with this chapter. After executive session, we'll come back out and take any action if applicable. The time now is 5:32. And we will reconvene in executive session in 5 minutes. Time is 6:02. We're back in the open session. Sandra, where are you? Repeat the caption item of number 1.
Recording in progress.
Consider and take possible action on the modification of a previously executed separation agreement between Jason Reynolds and the City of Nassau Bay to allow public discourse and access to the agreement.
All right, have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion. I move that we authorize the city attorney and position number 2, myself, to engage and work with the council of the former City of Nassau Bay, or with Jason Reynolds, in order to modify the separation agreement for all paragraphs that would impact or restrict the confidentiality of either the agreement or other aspects of the document.
Second.
I'd like to second that, Phil.
Second by Bryce first, but Matt second. Any discussion? If not, I'll call for the motion. All those in favor, raise your hand. Those opposed? 6-5-2, is that right? Matt, you're against?
No, he was for.
No, I'm for it. I'm for it.
So, okay, going down. Okay, it passes 6-1.
Move to adjourn.
Move second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all for coming. Find this.